Bro, if Marvel would just want to go ahead and make this universe the ultimate universe, I wouldn't be mad.
Does Bastion have 3 dads?
I mean, the intellect level of Bastion is supposed to be absurd, so it's like, yeah, he's playing 4D chess on this.
Greetings, Palaxians! Today on the Bounty Board, we're diving into X-Men 97 to discuss Bastion's grand scheme and whether or not Magneto is playing right into his hand. So kick up the warp drive and let's punch it. Welcome back to the Guardians of the Palaxy podcast. My name is Whitney, and today I am here with two of my very best friends in the world and some guy that I just kind of like. Just kidding. I'm here with Tommy, MT, and my very good friend, John. John and I played D&D together. He is incredible and amazing, and he actually has a dedicated X-Men podcast that you guys can go check out. We're going to have a link to that in the below section. And hi, John. How are you? How you doing today? Thanks for coming.
Hey.
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me. Stayed up till midnight and watched this as soon as it was out because I don't trust the internet. And I'm very excited to talk about it.
Hell yeah.
Our podcast is called Cyclops is Waiting for Me, which is a line from the first season, which a lot of people don't know. It's actually one of the most replayed lines and flashbacks of the entire series. And
oh, really?
It was totally an accident. We just liked it because it made fun of Cyclops.
Great. Perfect.
It is from the sad Wolverine episode where it's like him and Jean and like, you know, the same thing with like him cutting through the picture. And we just did it because it was the only thing my co-host and I both agreed on. And we're like, oh, Cyclops yells and is sad a lot in the show. This is really perfect. So
I love it. That's such a great backstory to the name of the podcast.
I didn't even notice. Cyclops is waiting, guy.
It's Jean is they have this awkward moment where they're right about to kiss with Jean and Logan, and she stops before anything happens, which obviously in 97 goes out the window. But she's like, I have to go. Cyclops is waiting for me. And the saddest, most pathetic Wolverine is like, so am I.
Wow. So sad. I've been there. Multiple times.
Been there.
We've all been Wolverine.
We've all been Wolverine in that moment.
We wish we were Cyclops, but deep down we're all Wolverine.
But no, speaking of Cyclops and Jean in this episode, like we see what's going on with them and how they are processing their son. Oh, well, Scott's son, Jean's sort of son, coming back from the future.
Jean's memory son.
Yeah.
The memory son.
I like Jean's delving into the, pardon the pun, she's delving into the gray areas here. She's like, you know what? I have the memories. I have the feelings, the emotions. I could probably just get past this, like, kind of strange clone infidelity if I just, you know, basically treat Cable like he's my son too. You know, I felt him kick in my womb mentally, so I might try doing that in my everyday life.
I think that we should start calling Cable her eternal sunshine. Am I right, ladies and gentlemen? Because he's just a memory.
Oh,
nice.
The puns and jokes are off the chain already.
Whitney knows, especially from playing D&D together, that I hate puns, and she did not warn me about the level of puns that would be happening.
How could anyone hate puns? Puns are the best.
We invited you on a podcast called Guardians of the Palaxy. Did you think we weren't going to do any puns? I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
I didn't even notice that our name was a pun until just now. That's so funny.
You thought this was just an original concept. Deep in space, there are separate Palaxies, different planets. All right, we got to get back on track here.
We got to get back on track. Sorry.
For me to say that, you know, we have gone off the rails. So let's talk about this episode, for crying out loud. It is, it's action-packed. We're already in a hellscape, okay? Things have gone so far wrong for our X-Men. Gambit is still dead, god damn it, and I'm not okay about that.
I thought he'd be back by now. I thought that they would zombie him or like shoot him up with that fallout juice or whatever that's keeping the ghoul alive.
I think we're gonna get a reveal. Gambit, Sentinel Prime, and it's gonna be very sad or something like that.
Yo, that would be disrespectful, but that's a very good theory.
I don't want it.
That is a good theory.
I don't know. I like, and I know I'll probably just get flamed for saying this, but like there's something about the power of like actually let this character stay dead. Like, because we know they wanted to do that in the original 92 series with Morph. Morph was never supposed to come back. Morph was actually supposed to stay dead. And it kind of takes away his sacrifice if you bring him back. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, I know X-Men comics for years have been bringing people back, but like, and I say this like begrudgingly because I love AJ, who's the voice actor, but I think there is some power to keeping him dead.
Oh yeah,
no,
for sure.
there definitely is. I mean, obviously the Tony Starkification of post-Endgame MCU has been a loss that we've been forced to feel over and over and over again. So I wouldn't be surprised, wouldn't put it past the show to have Gambit's death be that like really impactful moment. Interestingly, they sort of touched on this a little tiny bit. Sorry to fast forward, but it does have to do with Cable. Fast forwarding a little bit, Cable does mention that he keeps trying to go back to stop the massacre at Genosha, and he can't, and that they think it's because it's a fixed point in time, which was a thing that we learned about in Multiverse of Madness, where you can't change this fixed point in time. That's why Doctor Strange in the What If episode Christine just kept dying, and he kept trying to bring her back, and God damn it, it was a waste of his life.
I like they specifically referenced Kamar-Taj with that as well.
Yeah,
right.
I thought that was a really cool little shout out.
Bro, I don't know why Marvel Studios is like, oh no, this is its own thing. It's not going to connect to the MCU. When we got like so many references to MCU stuff, like Kamar-Taj, Absolute Points. We get, we see Vista Corp a couple of times in the background. We saw the orb from Guardians of the Galaxy in the background of that Storm episode. It just feels like, even though this is not 616, this is definitely going to be a show that they place somewhere on the timeline in the multiverse. That's probably going to maybe at least cameo during Secret Wars. Like, I just feel like this show wasn't made by Marvel Studios for no reason. You know what I mean?
I would actually love to like talk about that for a quick second. I think the challenge of it is we refer to anything that is produced by Marvel Studios right now as MCU. So even the alternate Earth that happens in Multiverse of Madness, they're still saying MCU with regard to that. I think if we actually just referred to everything as the Earth numbers, then it all is interconnected, and the comics do interconnect with the movies. I think when people say MCU, they're specifically talking about what they called 616, but it's like what 19999 or something like that is the MCU official number kind of scenario.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's where, because I agree with you fully, it has to have some interconnectivity with the movies at some point, but like treating comics and MCU as all movie things as separate, I think that's where people are actually just like kind of getting hung up on the wording of it. So
yeah, no, that totally makes sense. I like that explanation.
Yeah, no, like the wording is very, very confusing because like the name of the actual universe is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but now we're dealing with multiverses, and like there's
within
multiple
the cinematic
multiverses with the
universe,
multiverse,
yeah.
and like
and this is technically Marvel Animation. Like the
Correct.
Marvel
Right.
Animation logo pops up before the opening credits every time. So like, yeah, no. It's still part of Marvel, but it's not technically the CU, but it could still be connected via universe number. It's very confusing. I'm not good at numbers. There's too many numbers, you guys. Name the world. Give me words.
It's all connected. And you know who else is connected? Scott and Nathan Summers. The beginning of this episode is all about the family Summers, as we were saying, guys. And I like this because this is something that cartoons do. The timing of it is like always kind of unintentionally hilarious. Scott Summers is like, maybe one of his mutant powers is disappearing anytime I come in the room. Smash cut to them immediately being in the same room together with no addressing. they're in the room where Cable is explaining basically the lowdown of Bastion and everything that has gone on with his evil quest to create a utopia. Not often you hear that as a sentence. It's not a dystopian future for the humans. It is a utopian future at the expense of the mutants. So suck on that, Xavier.
With some great cameos.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yeah, because obviously the most notable is Polaris, who's like basically making a barrier around the Earth or whatever it is. But also those 2 mutants that were in the original 92 Days of Future Past episode, who still, I believe, to this day don't have formal names. They were just randoms created, but they were in Wolverine's crew when Bishop captured him.
If they don't have names, I'm just going to call them Rats and Forlorna, because those are our D&D names.
Rats and Forlorna.
Yeah, those are me and John's D&D names, and I think that those nameless guys should be named after us. I just think that's fair and right.
No, I do have a theory about like that utopia that like Cable mentions, because like it kind of very much reminded me of the Earth 838 universe that we see in Multiverse of Madness, where like we see this like police state, and like obviously we don't see mutants being chained up and like abused, but like I feel like that's the point, like as we can see in this episode when the Prime Sentinels bust into Sunspot's mom's I am secretly mutant phobic party. It's like, all right, no, we want to save mutants, give us your son. And she's like, all right, cool, take my son, weird purple man. But like, I feel like the point is like to make humans feel comfortable and to, sort of hide the mutant suffering. So like, I feel like there could be a chance here that Earth 838 could be one of those universes where Bastion succeeded, and like, mutants are sort of like under the thumb of humanity, and like Professor Xavier sort of has to just like accept, being, I don't know, a second citizen, or like a second-rate citizen in this new world. But like, I don't know. That's just my weird.
It's certainly interesting. It's like kind of the thesis seems to be that like no matter what horrific tragedies befall, the mutants, which is it's obviously an allegory for real life suffering. Whatever befalls the mutants will be momentarily gasped at and said, "Oh, I can't believe this. We must never let this happen again." And then we immediately go back to our regular lives and let it happen again. Ultimately, cycling over, I think Cable says 300 years of, or Bastion maybe even says it took him 300 years, ultimately leading to the humans being so indifferent that the mutants just become part of the, infrastructure of making their lives comfortable. It's like they basically become appliances for the humans, where they're like, great, they'll use their mutant powers to make our everyday comforts, make our everyday lives comfortable, not only comfortable, but utopian-like, which means, literally a paradise. So
look at the Shi'ar Empire. Like they literally had that one race that had the horse head like to their anatomy. They were miners, they were laborers, and that's probably what the mutants are viewed as in this version of Bastion Future. It's like, yeah, they have certain abilities, and we're just going to make them more efficient.
Like it's basically like just treating like mutant kind like animals, like advanced animals that they want to control, which is like what Bastion's whole deal is. It's just like, all right, if you guys are going to take us over, that's not going to happen, but we're going to use that great power to our advantage. Like we're just going to reintroduce slavery and have people get adjusted to a certain way of living to the point where like they don't care. It's like, all right, let's just let these people like be treated like animals. And like I really love the writing of this show, because like it's really great commentary on like what basically happens in real life. It's like, all right, let's treat minorities or people that like, aren't in the majority or in power to just abuse their power and to, abuse their work and for our own benefit. And like, Marvel Studios is doing a great job with this show. Like, I cannot wait for the live action X-Men.
MT, I completely agree with you. And I think to a larger point, it's like just in general, how we get exhausted by trauma, and like it's like, take just the issue of gun violence. It's like take mass shootings as a thing. It's like every time a mass shooting happens, we're so angry. Something's got to give, and yet more and more and more people buy more guns. Guns are like so accessible. Like really nothing has been done to stop the purchasing of guns, no matter how outraged and heartbroken we are. It's an interesting thing that this animated series is showing, like, yes, our inability to stay engaged with trauma rather than immediately moving on to our doctor's appointments, whatever we have the next day, grocery shopping and stuff like that, is probably what's going to lead to basically a police state or some sort of dystopian utopia, which is an oxymoron, I get, but some sort of figurative utopia where you think you're in a utopia, but it's really at the expense of a whole group of people. So
I think the other piece of that, you talk about gun violence begets more people buying guns, but in this scenario, the average person, up until what we see with Bastion later in the episode, doesn't have the ability to go and actually stop a powerful mutant. Like, look at those early footage pieces from 92 where Sabretooth is literally picking up and throwing police cars into the sky. The average person, even with a gun, can't take out somebody like Sabretooth. So that's where it goes beyond, oh, I need to defend myself, to I will submit to a police state because that's the only way I'm going to feel comfortable, is the government sanctioned superpowers are the ones protecting me.
Yeah, literally, that is what I feel like the play is with the MCU as well. I feel like, I feel like that's sort of what Echo teased at the end of that series, where it's like, all right, Wilson Fisk is going to run for mayor. He's going to run on this whole platform of intolerance and how you should need to be rounded up, and it's people's fear that will be like, oh yeah, let's treat other people with like they're animals, or like they're less than regular people because I'm scared, and there are people in charge telling me to be scared and to give them power to make my fears go away. And it's a story as old as time. It just keeps happening over and over again. It's fear mongering, and it works.
And that's the other thing that definitely works about it, is that it's such a strong fear tactic that even the well-meaning people still go along with it because they truly believe that that is what's best for the minority group. I'm just thinking of the mom being like, no, just go with them. Just go with those robots that you're telling me are going to kill you because they told me they're here to help you. And we all just want you to get help, honey. We don't want you to be gay. We just want you to be happy and get some help.
Roboto's mom sucks.
She fucking sucks, bro.
But yeah, no. So after, obviously Bastion is the person behind all this weird madness, and he activates all of his prime Sentinel sleeper agents,
including his mother,
including his mom. He turned his. Well, I was wondering about that because when did she turn? Because did she turn when she was pregnant? I don't know. I mean, obviously it had to be it had to be Bastion post when he was adult.
Her turn was so much more dramatic than everyone else's. Everyone else's was basically just off camera. Hers was a full-on exorcist.
It was so
yeah.
I don't know.
I wonder if she had actually passed away and she had just been waiting to be activated.
Oh.
Ooh, that's actually quite interesting.
I don't have anything to confirm that.
I mean, it would make. I mean, all you really need is a human body in the techno-organic virus. So and that kind of connects to what Tommy said about Gambit. It's if Gambit's dead, you could just use that body to do more Gambit type stuff.
Tommy's a monster then, obviously, just like Brett.
That's right.
That scene actually reminded me a lot of two things. One, in Harry Potter 7, fuck J.K. Rowling, protect trans kids. But in Harry Potter 7, when they go to Bathilda Bagshot's house, and it turns out that she's just the snake Nagini, because Nagini is just puppeting her body and then tries to attack the kids. And then also it reminded me of that fucking scene from It, the new one,
God.
Where they go into the old lady's apartment and she's just naked, and you just see her scattering. So as soon as they get into that house, I was like, oh, that is a dead lady with a robot inside of her. That is a dead lady being puppeted by a goddamn robot.
I also love that they know it's a trap.
They know it's a trap.
They literally say, let's play along. It's well, let's just see how this plays out. You have to.
That's because they've seen It, and they've seen...
they saw the original It.
It's Cable, Cyclops, and Jean Grey. You're it's a trap, but I mean, is it ever really a trap if it's the three of us? we're going to be able to blast our way out of here. And we have Jean Grey with us. Like she's going to be able to fix everything.
With her ponytail up again, by the way. Did you notice, like, last episode, her hair was down anytime you're seeing her. This one, it was up the entire time.
Sorry. Well, she knows that's how Scott likes it, and she's trying to fix things.
She's
like,
trying to
Jean
fix
Grey,
things
not
in her
Madeline.
marriage.
I
don't know,
like
like, it
your
was-
hair up in a ponytail. I also like you when you were the clone version of you that I impregnated, but I can only have one of those things. So
Please
just put your
pony
hair
it up, baby.
But no, it was so sad to see, Beast. He thought he was going to get like a little, a side thing, thing going. He was like, yo, what you trying to get into?
He's going to get his fur brushed.
Oh, yeah, baby.
And then instead,
The fur down there, you know what I'm saying?
do you think Trish Tilby knew she was a Sentinel Prime, or do you think that was a surprise?
I think that
I
was a
don't
surprise.
think she did.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just those Sentinels are so those Prime Sentinels are just so confident once they turn into Prime Sentinels. And I was like, oh damn, did she set him up? Was she like, I'm gonna get in real close?
I think that like this concept is so freaking cool. And like I really wish that we saw this first in live action, because like this would be sort of like the Secret Invasion that we didn't get.
That's what I was gonna say, Etty. This was like what we wanted from Secret Invasion.
Exactly.
Tons
Exactly.
of people we either peripherally knew as characters or even just like, everyday passersby in this world suddenly reveal themselves to be Skrulls, and instead it was just Rhodey. It was just Rhodey.
It was just Rhodey.
It was just Rhodey looking in the bathroom mirror like a sad girl about to cut her bangs.
But no, I really dig this Project Zero Tolerance stuff. Well, not the actual concept, but like the implementation.
MT. Did you guys hear that? MT supports Project
Alexa,
Zero Tolerance.
Isolate that clip, please. Isolate that clip. for us.
Isolate those vocals.
It's been nice podcasting with you guys.
Yeah, MT's canceled now. He's problematic.
Oh yeah, by the way, Make America Great Again, guys.
Oh, fuck you. Don't even joke. Don't even joke.
I'm just kidding.
Alexa. I'm not even
Okay,
talking
no.
to Alexa anymore. Alexa, the editor. I'm talking to Alexa, my personal electronic assistant that records. Call me an Uber. Get me out of here.
Call me an Uber, get me out of here. But no. Okay, no. Back to the Scott family stuff, because like I really liked them bonding together and having that escape from the mom from hell when she goes all full Robo and just chasing them down. It was just really cool to see. I just feel like the action in this show is just incredible. Like I feel like they did not need to go that hard, because obviously in the 90s the action wasn't as good as it is today. Like they went above and beyond, and I'm wondering who exactly is to thank for that, because like I hope they're still on the team for like a potential season 2, or if they do Spider-Man, which is who we saw towards the end of the episode, which is the thing I'm most excited about, because he's the GOAT, the mother freaking GOAT, Spider-Man, the greatest of all time. My God, I was hoping that they would do it, and it makes me wonder if we're going to get a Spider-Verse tease in the show. Like if we're going to see like, oh, we need you, 90s Spider-Man, because you got to be in the movie, so come on down.
Ooh, they're just going to pull directly Spider-Man 97. They're just going to pull him directly out of this battle. And he's like, wait a minute, there were Sentinels everywhere. I had to help my friend. What the fuck? Put me back. Put me back.
To go to your earlier question, though, MT, with regard to like, who do we have to thank for it? I think there's like multiple factors. The number one is 92 was Saturday morning cartoon, and you had standards and practices, which made severe creative limitations from what you could and couldn't show. And you also had it produced by Saban, which I don't know if you guys have ever gotten onto it. Like Saban was so cheap with the production of this show.
Ridiculously cheap all the time.
That's why there were such limited action sequences, because an action sequence is way harder to animate from a cost perspective than people talking.
It's why the Power Rangers kept using all the Japanese footage and not and all the shitty American
6
footage
fight
was
scenes
awful.
against buddies. Yeah, absolutely. All that said, I do think that the team with Bo, with Jake, with Charlie, who are the 3 people I know who've been a part of the creative team, they are all legit like nerds. Like they are all people who watch this stuff, read this stuff, watch anime, and they had inspiration. Whereas, I think everybody who was in that 90s team was a little bit more in the like, oh, well, Avi Arad is paying for this, so we need to make it like nice to sell toys around it. They're not selling toys from 97. They're selling $250 Mondo figures that people like us are buying. And I think that's the big difference.
The 90s kids that are now
They need to make
adults.
us happy because we could spend more money than like, what my friend is going to buy his 5-year-old.
True. 5-year-olds don't make very much money. How do you fucking feel, 5-year-olds, you useless pieces of shit?
Ooh, join
society.
capitalism, get bills.
Unless they're on YouTube or Instagram.
Just kidding. Stay 5 forever. I wish I was 5 and jobless. That would be great.
We don't want to make enemies of 5-year-olds. I've learned that lesson the hard way.
Yeah, that is a hard lesson.
My neighborhood is a dangerous place for me now because I knocked over a few lemonade stands last summer. But let me tell you something. We also we're all over the place in this episode in terms of how it went in order, but we don't recap blow by blow. We take key moments, but there is a key moment we have not talked about yet that comes earlier in the episode, and that is Val Cooper is alive,
right,
and hanging out with Bastion and Mr. Sinister. Val Cooper is alive. Now, here's a wild theory that is maybe more obvious than anything. Her name is Val. Is there a chance that she's going to pull her blonde hair off
and it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus, baby,
and be Contessa Valentina de la Fontaine? Is Val? But I mean, I thought for sure that the Val is Mystique theory was about to be fully executed here with her reverence for Magneto and her kind of I had no idea, blah blah blah. I thought, okay, here we go. This is where we're going to see that the reason Val has been a little hardier and more indestructible and seemingly always at the right place at the right time is because she is Mystique. But that did not come to fruition as of yet.
I have to take it back to 30 seconds ago to talk about MT's insane theory. He just pitched that when she removes her little mask, she's Elaine from Seinfeld, not Val, and the Seinfeld theme starts playing. She's just Elaine, and I think we should explore that, you guys. I think that the MCU really needs to explore what Elaine Bennis would be like.
Honestly, probably just Val, because she's just
Val.
Been acting very sassy every time she appears.
I've been debating this with my podcast co-host since the season started. I've never been on the side of Val is Mystique, and there are a few moments like the attack on Genosha when mutants next to her are getting obliterated and she's not targeted was one of those things. And unless there is some future reveal in the next 2 episodes of why Bastion would be utilizing Mystique, I don't think Bastion lets Mystique be that close to him. I just it feels out of character for me. But all that said, there are certain things I've been wrong about that I'm I had somebody literally predict the Doctor Doom thing. I was like, there's no way Doctor Doom's going to be in this episode. Look at my phone at 12:32 and I'm like, my bad.
Oops.
My bad.
Oh my God, Dr. Doom's cameo was just so unexpected and so exciting. And it makes me wonder, since we have Secret Wars on the way and obviously, this show is not going to, as they say, it's not going to connect to the overall MCU narrative with what they're going on with 616 and all that stuff. But it would be cool if it was this Dr. Doom that they just laid the seeds of all right, and maybe another season of X-Men, we just push out this Dr. Doom as the main threat for Secret Wars, and then we just bring everyone in. Because we don't really have a strong Dr. Doom in live action to pull for a 2015 Secret Wars adaptation.
Credited in this episode as Latvarian OZT member, voiced by Ross Marquand, who also voices Professor Charles Xavier, and did the voice matching for Hugo Weaving as Red Skull, obviously, in the Avengers films, and does a million other voices, Walking Dead.
How is Baron Zemo credited?
As Baron Zemo.
Okay.
Baron Zemo by Rama Valuri. Improv sketch comedian Rama Valuri. Congratulations, Rama. Not congratulations. Great job, Rama. Congratulations to us. Congratulations to us, Rama, for hearing you and your great voice work.
Hooray.
Yeah. To what you were saying earlier, MT, though, I think that this is actually the launching point for having all those shows that were out in the 90s, which we know were a connected universe. Spider-Man 94, Fantastic Four, and I believe Iron Man were all in that same universe together. So this is hey, let's prove we should have our own cartoon universe again. And if this is how you're launching it, that's the way to do it. And you in your first show, you've established the interconnected characters.
Bro, if Marvel would just want to go ahead and make this universe the ultimate universe, I wouldn't be mad. If they made this like 1610 and like had a separate like whole universe going on from the 90s, like it running concurrently with the MCU, I'm all about it. Like let's do it. Let's make another like Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm all about it.
Literally have it be the animated 90s verse or something like that.
Yeah, straight up.
Because I remember growing up in the comics, we had the 2099 universe, and we thought that was legit like what Marvel's 2099 was. And then we've eventually found out that was an alternate universe, not the future of our Spider-Man and stuff like that. So
and this is like a side tangent in a way, but like I really want this team to tackle the Inhumans, man, because after that horrible Inhuman show that we got, it's just it's going to take a lot for their reputation to be like fixed after that show, because people just don't care about the Inhumans. And I think that introducing them through this 90s universe and having them like be badass and like and integrate them with the overall mutant narrative and like maybe have the mutants and the X-Men clash like they do in the comics for a little bit, that would be dope. Like that would do wonders to repair the reputation in the eyes of everyone. But anyway, that's like a weird tangent because I'm a big fan of Karnak. He's my favorite Marvel character, which is weird, but I love him so much.
That is weird. Yeah, I fully agree with you with that statement. And that's coming from the Hawkeye guy. So.
No, I just like a big-brained badass. It's just very cool.
Speaking of big brains, I think we got to mention that we finally get name-dropped Nimrod in this episode.
Right.
Gray,
we see his Dorito body. His Dorito body is there.
After being in the intro, he's like, "All right, time to be part of Bastion's origin story," which he is in the comics. Him and Master Mold.
Master Mold. Yep.
Does Bastion have 3 dads? Master Mold, Nimrod, and then the janitor at the school his mother worked at? Is that?
Only the best characters have 3 dads in Marvel. I mean, Vision, Tony, Bruce, and Ultron. 3 dads.
Yeah.
Great guy.
That's like his grandfather, though, right?
True.
3 men and a baby.
But it's so weird. Like that whole his origin story. It's like, all right, no. A robot had sex with a human, and they made the human-robot hybrid, and then he started making more.
Well, a futuristic technovirus crawled up the pant leg of a janitor and implanted itself in his genitals, I have to assume.
So I give full credit to my co-host who texted me this last night. So Bastion was created from an STD. That's literally his origin story.
Wow.
It has to be, baby. It has to be.
That's why you wrap it up, because you never know.
You gotta wrap it up.
I mean, just wrap it up so you don't have kids, but the other stuff is another benefit.
Yeah, but wrap it up because your kid might be Bastion is even scarier. Like there's having a kid who's terrifying, and then there's having a kid who's Bastion. So I don't know.
Bastion's an overachiever. Look at all the bona fides Bastion has. He created a utopia. He's
hardworking.
He's great at collecting. He's seems very hygienic. He seems incredibly hygienic.
He was a high-ranking military official.
That's true. There's a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff from Bastion. Bastion's got a lot of bona fides. Big trophy shelf for him.
But you know what? Who also got some good stuff? Our sponsor for today, which Whitney has been communicating with. And
yes, I've been furiously emailing with these folks every single day, trying to get all of us the best goddamn deal.
Seriously,
and I think
they offered us $1 million
it.
for this, so I'm very excited.
This ad is $1 million.
You're not supposed to disclose the amount, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. This ad is not $1 million.
Could you imagine if at the beginning of podcasts they were like, BetterHelp has paid us $10,000 to let you know.
This very shitty therapy app that you shouldn't use paid us $10,000.
I will say at the beginning of like as soon as Remember It hit, I started joking that every single show covering X-Men should be sponsored by BetterHelp.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, I don't go to therapy, but I feel like I need to because of this show.
We all
Because
need
of
therapy
X-Men
now.
97. Now we all do.
Rogue needs better help. Jesus Christ.
Rolling these bones. Okay, I got a 12. And 12
Ooh.
is hands-free.
Hands-free.
And then I got an 11. And 11 is planet. Hands-free planet.
Hands-free planet. Wow.
Guys, we've talked a lot about utopias today. And I'll be honest, I think the one thing, or should I say, two things,
Ooh.
holding us back on this planet from reaching our true potential are 10 gosh dang digits planted onto 2 meaty wrists. That's why I'm proposing that in 2025, the Earth go hands-free. That's right.
Ooh.
Hands-free, Tommy. How could that be?
Well, you might ask yourself, how do you make a hands-free planet, Whitney, like you just did? And what is that going to cost me? $10,000? No. For $100, I will freeze your hands off with nitroglycerin, smash them with a little hammer, creating 2 tiny stumps that you can use to knead dough. You can use them to do really cool dance moves. You can use them to become a football end zone thing. Everything that these goddamn albatrosses on my arms create.
Your slippery little digis.
Some people have asked me, Tom, is it just because you have short, pudgy fingers that you're trying to eliminate hands? And I say to them, yes, this is all a vanity move by me to even the playing field. Look, it's no secret. I'm 40 and unmarried, and I'm looking for love. And I truly believe the only way I'll ever find my forever princess is if we all remove our hands from our bodies. So please, join me in 2025. Don't give me 5. Don't give me 10. Give me 0.
Make sure to go to handsfreeplanet.com/nubs and get our 20% discount with promo code Palaxy.
Nubs. Codename Nubs. That's what you just call this. This Nubs.
Codename Nubs.
Codename Nubs.
Excellent. That was amazing.
Perfect ending to the ad.
Cool. I'm stealing this for our podcast.
You should. It's a great time.
They're a great sponsor. Thank you for sponsoring us.
Thank you for sponsoring us, Hands Free Planet, and thank you for the $10,000 that you definitely didn't give us because we're not allowed to say that you did.
But no, back to X-Men 97. We got to talk about the awesome Nightcrawler and Wolverine sequence that we got when Bastion's people started busting into the X-Mansion, burning everything, which is super rude. But like, that teleportation moment that we got of seeing what it's like to be bamfed by a Nightcrawler himself was one of the coolest things that Marvel Studios has ever done, in my opinion. Such a cool way to like, just to show, like, I like the zoom out thing that they did, like they stretched out Wolverine a little bit. And it's just like, oh man, it's a weird experience being bamfed and teleported by a Nightcrawler. But yeah, no, like their dynamic was super cool. Seeing him fight with 3 swords was fucking badass.
Oh my god,
dude!
that was awesome.
When Wolverine's like, I have 6 reasons, and he's like, I have 3. That's 9. And he just like has a little tail knife, like a tail sword. That is so cool.
I was like, why don't you just do this on a regular
sword.
Nightcrawler? Like, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, bro. Why aren't you carrying around 3 gigantic pirate swords at all times?
Seriously,
I would.
That'd be fucking cool.
Can we also talk about the body count of this episode?
Yeah.
Because
they killed so many.
Like, that's the thing. Yes, they are these prime Sentinels right now, but there's no discussion of like, oh, can they be fixed or changed back, etc. Like, I get Wolverine. This is Wolverine's MO. Nightcrawler going ham and killing people actually shocked me because
this is true.
I mean, it's survival, and I'm not going to judge him for it, but I'm also like, he might hesitate for a half second.
Sure.
Wolverine doesn't care. Wolverine could have seen humans that are just
he was ripping them. He was like they were a rotisserie chicken.
From
the grocery store.
Some of them was
Please don't
somebody's
talk about
mom,
chicken
bro.
during lunch, Tommy.
Nightcrawler was just like on guard.
Yeah. Now,
and then in the meantime, his tail is fighting in the back like a freaking swordfish, just stabbing guys. God, it was so cool.
No, John, I do agree with you though, because this was kind of one of my issues with one of the seasons of Stranger Things when they had the giant monster that was absorbing people and like, basically like hypnotizing them. It's like, yeah, they just killed the Demogorgon and then, or that version of the Demogorgon, and then all those people, including children that were absorbed by it, I guess are just dead now. Like there was no
100%, yeah.
there was no effort to like save them, and then they're like, oh no, there's just like 100 people that were absorbed by this monster that are gone. Now, I think that they did go to some lengths in this episode to show that the Prime Sentinels self-repair. Like, I mean, one guy's head literally reattached to his body.
Oh my god,
so
yeah.
I think all the graphics.
But Wolverine didn't check that. Let's be clear.
No,
He didn't know.
I don't think Kurt or Logan knew that as they were, going
slicing and dicing.
Fogo de Chao on a bunch of Prime Sentinels.
Never going to Fogo with you, Tommy. Ever.
They just
I'm a lot of fun.
It just sounds like a mess.
On those
I've got
bitches.
9 reasons why you should go to Fogo de Chao with me.
But no, like obviously, like the rise of all of these Sentinels like leads what's her face Val to release Magneto from his prison, causing Magneto to have a bit of a temper tantrum of sorts at Santa Claus's place in the North Pole.
Man, oh man, if Santa came out and said, "Oh God, my NutriBullet doesn't work anymore. What happened here? I'm juicing. No.
Forget his NutriBullet. It's his pacemaker that I'm worried about right now.
True, yeah.
I talk about the body count from this, like the Prime Sentinels.
Yeah,
there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, who are almost instantly dead when this kind of thing happens.
Bro.
The EMP that shut down every hospital, like. People,
you're on life support.
Gone.
You're fucked. Yeah. Nana's in a coma. Never seeing her again. Sorry. Bye.
Bro, like, the freaking end of remember the end of Endgame when like, all the planes were falling from the sky? I mean, Infinity War rather. That all over the planet. Like, it's just constant just chaos.
Oh,
like, my
that
God.
was because of Infinity War? I thought that those were just Boeings.
I have to fly on 2 Boeings tomorrow, please.
I'm scared for you. I am terrified for you. I don't want you to do that.
I'm just flying into the Rocky Mountains. There's nothing bad that could happen.
That's fine.
There's
nothing bad at all. There. Yeah, that's
it's lots of slopes.
Spot to land.
You're good.
Yes, lots of pillows.
I'll just slide down the mountain in my Boeing.
Like a little skateboard.
The Softy
I'll be like
Mountain.
Bastion riding Falcor at the end of every story.
Yeah!
I did love Wolverine's reaction to it, though. He's like, I can't believe he did it. Yeah, and Morph was like, oh, that he defeated all the Sentinels. He's like, no, that he straight up started the war.
Yeah. I thought that was a very cool line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like Eric crossed the line. Like Magneto was just like, you know what? I'm done. Like he's just 100%. Like everything I've done before was like sort of baby stuff. Like I'm gonna take it to the next level because they chained me up like I used to be chained up back in the Holocaust, and that's not gonna happen to me no more, bro.
But I also think Eric was privy to all of typical Bond villain Bastion and Mr. Sinister declaring their entire plan in front of him. And he was like, well, there's one way to stop these Sentinels, and that is to literally just turn off the juice to the entire planet. Yep. So, yes, what he did was extreme, but what he did is also probably, not to you know what? I'm going to avoid my nuclear bomb analogy I was just about to make. I'm going to skip that. I
think slow down there, Oppenheimer. What are you?
Well, I was going to say, like, this was his nuclear bomb launch. Like, he was like, I'm going to have to do something big, dramatic, and terrible to stop all of the Prime Sentinels from killing or trying to save mutants.
To that point, though, and it clicked with me the moment you said the bot and villain monologue aspect of this. Do you think that was intentional because Bastion wanted to prove why the Sentinel Zero Tolerance program was necessary? So if you tell Magneto and you're saying it around him, all these awful things that are going to happen to mutants, you're pushing him further to take something that mutants cannot walk back from. And it doesn't matter if 1 mutant did it or 1 million mutants did it. Mutants are still to blame. And imagine the level of support now in your anti-mutant world you get because you what's it, a false flag or something like that, where you basically make somebody be your scapegoat.
Yes.
Right.
He enabled Eric to make that mistake that he might not have done prior.
Right.
Ooh, that's a really good point.
That's a
And
really
Bastion's
good point.
like, I mean, the intellect level of Bastion is supposed to be absurd. So it's like, yeah, he's playing 4D chess on this. This isn't Trask, who's just like, I'm building big robots to fight mutants.
Because I'm mad.
I'm big mad, and you're going to get some big robots because of it.
Also, is it going to be ironic? Beast is probably going to heal Trask first, and that's how they're going to figure out how to reverse this technovirus.
Time to fix the machinery,
the man
bro.
who wants to destroy them all will be the first one healed. And isn't that beautiful?
And then Rogue drops him from a building again.
Then Rogue drops Beast from a building.
She drops them both at the same time. It's like, time to fix this. But no, I really liked how, Magneto's first response was to knock out all of the electricity on the planet. Because if you think about it, electricity is how humanity has been able to evolve or advance, have like a huge boon in like how we do things. And it changes the world and how we live our lives and like how we survive. So like if you cut off the source of humanity's growth, like they will be forced to you just cut off their superpower. Like humanity's main superpower is electricity. It's how we survive. So like knocking out the power to the world is going to radically change human society, like society in general. Like, is there going to be government? Like, are there going to be riots? Like, what's going to happen?
Well, I think it's a style of Pulse that it only knocks it out for a small period of time. I don't think it's a world-ending scenario. Because they have actually explored that. I want to say the book was called Marvel Dark Ages, and it was a 6-issue miniseries where basically anything that was beyond steampunk level technology stopped working.
Interesting.
Yeah, it came out right around that same time as the one where Batman and Superman were in like medieval times. So it was like 2-3 years ago or something like that. So
damn, I gotta
look into that. I would actually recommend people check that one out because it does explore like what is this massive effect on the globe when technology can't come back, and you have people like Tony Stark that's all they have.
Right. True. But I think the question that we should probably ask ourselves now, like towards the end of all this, is that like, was all of like what is the cosmic purpose for all of this happening? Because we saw the Watcher watch like the event of like the genocide about to go down in Genosha, and obviously we're seeing all these dominoes affecting the war is now like about to pop off. So like, is this the universe where like the war has to happen? Like, is this like the bad timeline? Like, I in the back of my mind, I'm feeling like this universe isn't the actual X-Men universe from the 90s, and it's a what if scenario of the 90s universe where like we have an alternate timeline where like the shit goes down and everything bad happens, and we have the good timeline where like it's just the regular 92. And like I have this weird feeling that we're gonna see an incursion between these two timelines, because like this is the what if everything went down and Magneto started a war,
or could this be a branch? This could be a branch timeline. What if we see the TVA in the episode? In the 10th
bro, that would be sick if we saw the TVA involved.
Guys, we're branching out like crazy. We got to finish talking about this episode. John, you got another Easter egg for us, do you now?
I do, but I just want to answer MT's point on that one.
Please do.
I think there was a great tweet that happened right after Remember It. I can't remember the name of the person who tweeted it, so apologies. But they said, this is what you asked for. This is when X-Men are at their best, where it is... It's essentially hard and heart-wrenching, but this is when X-Men is amazing.
Yeah.
I think, for what it's worth in my own experience being a reader, I think it's a disservice if they do a reset point, like with like an Age of Apocalypse or something like that. Because we've also already had that with One Man's Worth in the original series too, of like, this is what happens when it goes too far. You go back and you fix it. Right. I actually, it sounds awful to say because we know there are millions of people who probably died from the shit that's happened here, but I want this to stay the timeline. I don't want it to be a what if or a reset point. So,
I mean, like we were talking about this before the show, like about sacrifices. You brought up the amazing point of like, Gambit sacrifice needing to have meaning, and like all of these events, like if people are going to die on a massive scale, like have it actually be something that happens, because like that's how real life is. Like we have these horrific events, and we grieve, and but we also change, and we learn from them, hopefully. And then like that's how history is made. Is like bad things happen, good things happen, and just what it is. So like yeah, I totally agree with you. Like rewriting everything with like time travel and like everybody's fine and Gambit's back and this never happened is like I feel like the traditional 90s cartoon cop-out way of like, yeah, X-Men are back, everything's fine. But like let's just see a living universe. Let's just see bad shit happen and the consequence. Like I love that shit. I think it's really great. But I also like incursions. I think it'd be really funny if we just saw them fight. Like
oh my God. Okay, Alexa, pull that soundbite out. MT likes incursions. I
like incursions. I want this reality.
So just to recap, he likes incursions and he likes Project Zero Tolerance.
Yeah,
you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Incursions up, tolerance down. That's what I say.
I feel like I could say anything now and I can't get in trouble by comparison, so I appreciate that, MT.
No problem. I want the extermination of every reality.
Yeah, so the other Easter egg, obviously, like, there were a few super obvious ones in here, like the inclusion of Spider-Man and, like, having Dr. Doom unnamed even in the credits and stuff like that. Cool. A minor one, I don't know if anybody saw it, when they were exploring Bastion's childhood home, one of the stuffed animals is Machine Man. From the Marvel comics.
Yes, I love Machine. He's so cool. He's so rad. Anyway, yes, so great.
And that was actually tied to his origin in the comics. They're obviously not going deeper into that. But the one for me that stood out, and this, like, I'm not going to text people at 12:15 in the morning, but I did text somebody during this one. The department store where they went in, where is Jubilee shopping with Roberto Wasserman's.
Yes,
which. The original composer to the X-Men animated theme from 1992 is Ron Wasserman.
Yeah! Power Rangers!
That is so
cool. The Power Rangers theme too.
That's so fun. I didn't even notice that. That's awesome.
Well, transparently, my co-host Rod on Cyclops is Waiting for Me is friends with Ron. And if you ever listen to our podcast, we have a musical intro that is actually composed by my co-host and Ron Wasserman.
Whoa!
So anytime Ron gets shout out and acknowledgement, like we love seeing that because he's obviously not on this show. It's the Newton brothers who are doing the music.
Right.
So seeing Ron's acknowledgement here was like, I was like, hell yeah, I was so happy to see that.
Ron is a goat. I'm a huge Power Rangers fan. Everyone knows this. Everyone knows this about me. His music on Power Rangers is what made that show work. He is such a talented musician that, like, I'm so glad that they did that little Easter egg because he definitely deserves it. Like, he's such a rad dude.
I know we're talking about X-Men, but do you want to know the best part about the Power Rangers theme song?
Yes.
What?
Of course.
The vocals on it were not intended to be the vocals. Those were Ron just recording those to give an example. And he sent it over to Saban, and Saban said, no, we're good. We don't need to record another singer.
We don't want to pay you.
We don't want to pay you more. This is fine.
It was essentially placeholder audio to put whomever the real singer was going to be. And it's Ron's voice. And he would re-record a remaster of it within, I think it was within the last like 6 years or so.
I listen to it all the time.
Yeah, and that's what his original intent was. It was never for his voice to be on that track.
That's great.
My God.
Yo, I had no idea. That is such a cool fact.
Either.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you. I'll send you videos. We've done some videos with Ron that have like talked about Saban and the music production stuff.
I love that, man.
I guess I know what we're all doing tonight. We're all looking up the episode of your podcast. We're all going to watch this.
We're all going down a Wasserman hole. All right. Now, guys, we've certainly
never say that again, please.
New podcast, Going Down the Wasserman Hole.
Going Down the Wasserman Hole.
Through the Wasserman
where Cyclops is waiting for you.
Cyclops is waiting beyond the Wasserman Hole. No,
it's true.
Enough. Alexa, cut it all out. The best part of being pals is teaching each other new things. And John, you have taught us so much today.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. You are so much fun to talk to. I already knew you were fun to hang out with, but you are so knowledgeable. We loved having you today. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you guys for having me.
Please plug up. Where can we find you?
Yes.
So on all podcast services, it is Cyclops is Waiting for Me. And if you search X-Men animated, we're like one of the top 2 results with one of the others in the space.
Nice.
And on all socials, we are Cyclops IWFM Pod, because our name is too long to fit in any social handle.
That makes sense. Ours is Got Pals, because ours is also too long to fit in a handle.
None of us really thought about that when we were naming our stuff, did we?
We did not. We certainly did not.
We're going to shorten ours to the Palaxy cast someday. We're going to do a hard rebrand in season 3.
Yes.
Because as everyone knows, we're soaring through season 2 right now. Guys, this has been an absolute pleasure. As we always say, be good to your pals. Check in on your pals. If your pals need you, be there for them. The best way to be a pal is to listen and check in. I don't know how to end.
That's okay. I'm gonna swoop on in here and remind you guys, our merch is available at guardiansofthepalaxy.store. That is the best way to support us.
Right.
Please check it out. Get a crop top. It's summer. And
Yes.
the other
Shout out
thing,
to Paintamenti.
yeah, shout out to Paintamenti. Get that summer Paintamenti crop top going, babies.
Seriously.
We gotta get out of here.
We gotta
Be good to your
leave.
pals. Love
Yes.
you guys.
Love
Enjoy
you,
free
bye.
comment.
Bye, everybody. Mwah, 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 mwah.